There were some very ugly scenes as a huge bunch of AZ Alkmaar ultras made for an area which contained a certain number of West Ham visiting fans. That included women and it included children. Now, Chris Knoll, a West Ham fan, has been since lauded amongst supporters after helping to protect players' families and friends during this attack by the Dutch hooligans last week. And some of these hooligans have been brought to book for it. On Wednesday, the Dutch media reported that 26 men involved in the chaos had reported themselves to the police, with 7 detained, but 10 more were still being sought. But Chris Knoll, Knowlesy, as he's known by some of the West Ham fans, stood at the top of a flight of stairs and literally beat off many of those attacking AZ Alkmaar ultras. He did so with a family member and a few other West Ham fans. He stood there and he stood his ground. And of course, he's become a bit of a hero, as I say, and he's reluctant about that billing. In fact, a one-off model of Nosey attracted 58 bids on eBay yesterday and eventually sold for £6,000. Nosey Simon is a fan of yours. He's a fan of this show and a big fan of the legend that is Stuart Pearce. I spoke to him this morning. His daughter very kindly gave me a number for Nosey, and because it's talkSPORT, he said, yeah, I'll chat to you. And he did. And he remembers that moment at AZ Alkmaar.
We started celebrating. I could see a hostile reaction from the Alkmaar fans. And my son-in-law, who stood right by me, looked over and said, "Oh, look, they're leaving the game." And I just said to him, "No, I don't think they're leaving the game because they're running. You know, when you're defeated and you're leaving the stands, your head's down and you're walking away." And there was a fence which was really inadequate to hold them, almost like a Harris fence, which you get on a building site. They started shaking that, and I remember, 80 or however many there were, I don't know, there were plenty of them come running down. They looked like they're Lance because they were all wearing their black hoodies and their black balaclavas and dressed in black, and they sort of seemed to be swarming up the stairs. And there were really 3 flights of stairs which were leading to a pocket of West Ham fans. I just thought, the best place to defend us here would to be meet them at the top of the stairs. So I just went to the top of the stairs where it would really be almost like a one-on-one situation and we could perhaps hold them back. My son-in-law, Jaden, he's a big lad. He was right behind me as well. So we managed to hold them off for as long as we could. And people have said, you're a hero. I don't see myself as that. I really think that I've done what most people would do. And you've got such a short time to react to it. You just do what you think is right. There were other guys at each set of the stairs. I seem to get a lot of the praise, I think, because someone recognised me and they put a name to me. So that's maybe why I'm getting all the recognition. But there were guys that did exactly what I did at every stairwell and deserve as much credit.
I've looked at the pictures online, Nosey. You got a few of them out of your road, but you took a few blows yourself, didn't you? Yeah,
I was doing okay, and then it's just sheer amount of numbers. If you look at the pictures, there's pictures of me and other guys, and we're just mobbed. I think there's one picture that they've made a canvas of it, and that particular still, I think you can count about 12 guys, and they're literally all around me. So eventually just numbers took over, and one of the guys managed to get behind me. So as I'm sort of trying to fend off the people that are coming up the stairs in front of me, this guy's just hitting me in the side of the head, which is where I've got the black eye from, really.
This morning, 43 stadium bans have been announced at AZ Alkmaar. So it's right, isn't it, that these people are being penalised, the people who mounted the attack?
Yeah, absolutely. Jim, the thing is that I can't understand, I had a lovely day, we were all in the fan zone, and it was, there was no trouble there, everyone was drinking and having fun, but all during the course of the day, West Ham fans were coming to the fan zone and they'd been assaulted or ambushed, basically, by AZ Alkmaar fans. And if you look at the videos, all their ultras, they're all dressed in black hoodies with black balaclavas. Surely in a modern city like Alkmaar, you can see these guys congregating because they're mob-handed. Surely we must be able to stamp this out.
Now, you've been made out to be something of a hero. You've been immortalised, if you like, but you don't want that.
No, not at all. I'm not on any social media. I don't do Twitter and stuff like that. You know, my boy was telling me on the Friday morning when I got back that I'd had 1 million hits or whatever it is, and I sort of said, "Is that impressive?" He said, "Yeah, impressive." But you know, I don't want the limelight. What I loved was going to the ground on Sunday and meeting the people. That's what it is for me. Not social media, not people portraying pictures of the trouble and stuff like that. Just to meet the West Ham fans and be considered as part of their family is amazing for me.
Some things on social media do not make you happy, so tell me what those are.
Well, there's some negative things in there. You know, saying, you know, I saw a post of me saying that 80s terrace legend Knowlesy. Now, where's that come from? It's not come from me, and I'm certainly not an 80s legend. You know, I went to West Ham when I was a kid, and I've been going ever since. But you know, I don't want the limelight, and I never was that. I was just a normal football fan. It upsets me because it's not true. You know, people saying that he's handled this to try and get a final ticket. But of course I want a final ticket. There's no doubt about it. But I've not gone on any media searches trying to make myself out to be something that I'm not. But if someone offers me a ticket, that's like gold dust to me. So that's, you know, some good, some positive has come out of the little bit of negativity.
What would it mean to you, Nosey, if West Ham can win this European final?
Absolutely everything. I've been supporting West Ham since I was 15, and I was lucky enough when I was a 15-year-old lad jumping on the train and the tube and getting up to Wembley to see us win the FA Cup in 1980, and the goal where Trevor Brooking scored right behind that goal. So, you know, this will be as good a moment as that.
Listen, I think one of your own heroes is in studio with me this morning, Stuart Pearce. What do you want to say to Stuart?
The man's a legend, both for England, for Nottingham Forest, and for West Ham, and all the coaching that he did at West Ham as well. But that's a real legend, that man there.
And Stuart Pearce has just been listening to you, Nosey, and has been listening intently. Stuart, there's a good guy. He wanted to point out, look, certain aspects that have appeared on social media are wrong. I didn't run about the terraces in the 80s. He's a decent man and a good man. And I think had he not stepped in that night, there could have been some seriously ugly incidents. Along with others, he prevented what could have become it was nasty enough, but by God, it could have got really nasty.
It would worry me to think what would have happened if it wasn't for the likes of him and one or two others to actually stand up and stop these idiots coming up the terraces and coming up the stairwell like they were. It's really good. Sometimes there's a perception, and as he mentioned there's a perception of what he is or what he might be because of a still picture or because he was involved in what he was doing. But I tell you what, he's come across as a true supporter in every sense of the word, a real hero in regard to what he done. I think he saved a lot of people getting big problems, families, children, you name it, that were beyond him, that he stopped these idiots getting to. And credit to him for it. And I personally would just like to thank him for his support at West Ham over the years, because he is exactly that. He is a true supporter of the football club in every sense of the word.